Good evening to everyone. Can everyone hear me well, even at the back? Can you hear me? Yes? Can you see the screen? Yes? I presume most of you came here either because of curiosity, either because you have a health problem and you thought, oh, that sounds interesting, let's find out more. And some of you, maybe you're on the wrong talk and you soon will go, which can happen. Welcome all of you. The talk is relevant for anyone who either is sick, either they're healthy and they want to take their health level to the next level. It's perfect for athletes. A lot of them think they're healthy, but they're not. Fitness, physical health, looking nice, and actually being healthy, they are different things. That's why you have athletes dropping dead. You say, how that came? I will explain that. And perfect for kids. It's suitable for everyone. Everyone will get something. Now, I will kindly ask you to be open-minded. A lot of the things you will hear here is not like repeating things you read. It will not be things that are read in a book or recycling things. There are a lot of brand new information which probably you haven't been exposed before. So, what is breathing? Well, breathing is breathing. Just most of the people will say we just breathe air in and we breathe air out. Well, it's much, much, much more than that, and I will explain to you. What is its impact on our health? It's the A and Z to our health. The breathing, it's affecting our oxygen levels in our body, where it's needed in our cells and tissues. So if we don't breathe properly, that will have that will make us sick. Anyone who has any kind of chronic disease, the breathing is affected. We have certain categories of diseases. We have the contagious or infectious diseases, such as hepatitis, congenital, such as birth defects, and chronic diseases, diseases of civilization, where there's blood pressure, high cholesterol. These are the diseases which people have so many problems and they're taking so much medication. This is the problem. Now, all these diseases, if we correct the breathing, they can be sorted. Let me repeat that. If we correct the breathing, all these diseases will sort it. Now, it's not as easy as it sounds. And I will explain, but I just want to let you know all chronic diseases, diseases of civilizations have to do with the breathing and the oxygenation of the blood cells and tissues. Diseases that can be treated can be asthma, diabetes 2, bronchitis, chronic fatigue, depression, and much, much more. You see, most of them, they're the symptoms. Most of the people, they give you a medicine for the symptoms. Oh, I have backache. Well, take this. Well, it can be just a symptom of dehydration. Oh, I have this problem. Take that. All these are symptoms because the body is not in balance. And the way you can measure it is to see how oxygenated are your blood cells and tissues. So, all will make sense. As I tell you, it's a journey. A lot of things that will be new. But you will live with a smile and empowered with an understanding, so you don't have to spend time and money unnecessarily for things that they don't work. And I don't have anything to sell, by the way, so you will be pleased to know. I want to inform you. The breathing and the sports, directly related. If we have lactic acid when people do sports and then they have pain, that has to do because the oxygenation is not proper. Also, if you breathe properly and the body is oxygenated better, you'll have more stamina, you can recover faster, and etc. So you can see it's directly linked there. Our teeth, when you see the kids, when they have their teeth, they're crooked and stuff, it's not necessarily, yes, it's the diet, yes, there is other stressors which I'm going to touch in a while, but bottom line is they're hyperventilating, and that is affecting their teeth. Actually, I have two kids, a 3.5 and a 5 and a 6-year-old. We took it to a specialist dentist who, together with breathing, they're just sorting out the jaw and everything, and they will not need braces. They will not need to break the jaw like they're doing the standard procedure. When they get 15, 16, they need to break the jaw and they put braces. You can sort it from that young age, and today you're going to find out how. What is affecting our breathing? This is the most important thing. You see, you can buy oxygen machine, you can buy a mask, etc. There are so many factors that it's affecting the breathing. You need to address them. Otherwise, it's like you have a bucket that is constantly empty because of the water is leaking too many holes. You keep putting water, but if you don't address the holes, if you don't close the holes, the stressors which are affecting the breathing, then actually you will not sort out the problem. You're just treating a bit the symptom, you're feeling better, and then you're hooked for life to get the products. So they can be physical, nutritional, environmental, emotional, spiritual. Now, the nutritional, I'm going to touch on the pH and on the nutrition. This is the topic, but I need to prepare you before I go there. If you don't understand, then you're going to be lost. So, yeah, all these things, whether it's genetically modified food, cosmetics, for example, anything you touch on your skin, it goes straight into your blood. So you put toxicity, that is going to affect your breathing. Why? Because it's tightening the diaphragm and then makes you breathe deeper. Deep breathing actually, like most people tell us, it's not right. Actually, I will tell you the opposite, and I'm going to back it up scientifically. And so, yes, nutrition chemicals, they're affecting our oxygen levels. The other thing is physical, structural, the way we sleep and training. Most of the people, they shouldn't go for training. They're so sick and they're putting more stress in their body. The way we sleep, again, we tell to our clients who are very, very sick not to sleep more than 6 hours, and they have to break the sleep in the night, because you can go into deep sleep 9, 10 hours and then you find yourself hyperventilating. And you get up and you're tired. Well, you slept 10 hours, you're supposed to be rested. Well, you're not rested because you hyperventilated and you lost a lot of carbon dioxide, which is you need it for the oxygen, and everything is going to make sense. Environmental, electromagnetic radiation, Wi-Fi, all these things putting stress on our body is affecting the diaphragm, it's affecting our breathing, it's affecting our oxygenation. That's it. It's simple as that. So you don't need to search here and there. Bottom line is the oxygenation of our body. Emotional, mental. Well, yeah, a part of stress that makes our diaphragm tight, the other thing that it does is producing a lot of adrenaline and then cortisol, which stays in our body for 13 hours. And that is messing up our hormones, insulin levels, and etc. So most of the people, they haven't recovered from one thing that distressed them, and they have another 2, 3 on the row. So they're constantly stressed out, and which is affecting the breathing, oxygenation, digestion, as well as the endocrine system. Spiritual, I'm not going to elaborate more, but bottom line is that if you cannot face the questions who we are, what we do here, that creates fear. Anything that creates fear equals stress. Stress equals tight diaphragm, equals hyperventilation, low oxygenation of the body. Now, why most of the breathing techniques and equipment do not work, at least on the long term? Now, you will think oxygen. I'm not talking about the oxygen that you know. Oxygen like the ones they give in the hospital or the oxygen machines, helping people, it helps people not to suffer. That one, it will not reverse the problem. It will make them, it will help them die without, pass away without suffering. The oxygen is not needed on the lungs, it's needed on the blood tissues and cells. And again, I'm going to explain. So most of these things, they're giving you a temporary relief, but what you need to do is, and this is what I do, is to retrain the respiratory center. At the back of the head, there is the medulla oblongata. This is a gland which is controlling the breathing. When you need to breathe, it's not controlled by your lungs. No. That pressure comes, the urge to breathe, it comes from the brain, from that gland. Because breathing is a primitive mechanism. Yeah? It's a part of the autonomic nervous system. So, like pumping the blood, the same with the breathing. It happens automatically. You don't think to breathe. It's just happening. And it's very, very powerful mechanism. You see, you cannot commit suicide by holding the breath. You can't. It will not let you. So to retrain that center, it needs skill. You need to remove the stressors and do specific exercises, specific times, and you need monitoring depending what is the health problem. Because once you retrain that, then you don't need any equipment, you don't need anything. The breathing will be normalized on its own. But as I said, bottom line is to retrain the respiratory center. So my journey, how I found out about the breathing. Well, I'm qualified in over 12 health modalities. I came originally from Greece in 1997, and I was working in catering, Claridge's, Rolls-Royce, Warner Brothers, very posh places, yeah? And I was eating a lot of sweets. When you're stressed, you work crazy hours, then you open the fridge, you say hello to the sweets, and if they don't run away, you eat as many as you can. It's cravings. Most of you relate to me. So I started having ridges on my nails, my hair got thinner, and that was a big thing for me because I came with curly hair here and very fit. So I started looking for solutions. Well, someone said you need to take B vitamin because stress will help you. Someone, you need to take digestive enzymes. Then someone told me about a company, and I started going to seminars and looking about nutrients. So I was looking, but I had only part of the solution until I was very lucky. I'm curious, and I was always going to courses. I'm Gemini, and I found a teacher who, she said, she helped me to build me up my health, and she said, if there is a problem, it can be emotional, nutritional, structural, chemical. So it's not only food and training. Oh, I thought that's very interesting. Then I started investing on different courses because I'm a father and I had kids, and I was planning for kids, and I wanted to know what is the truth. So I overqualified. I have over 9, 10 qualifications 3-4 years ago, and then I went to a breathing course, a presentation. It shook my world. The things they told me there, I need to eat only when I'm hungry, sleep when I'm sleepy, drink when I'm thirsty. I said, this is cuckoo. It really, I thought, I was a bit arrogant in a good way. I said, I have so many qualifications. I came in from Hippocrates, raw food at Florida. It's a famous center. I came back and I thought, I know everything. So I done the course. I didn't follow a lot of the instructions, but then I was allowed to go again. So I went to more courses, and then it started sitting in my brain. I thought, okay, I'm going to experiment. So I started doing the things with less food, less sleep, doing my practice. And then I started seeing results. And then I started applying, and it became a second nature. You see, a baby eats, sleeps, drinks only on demand. You don't put the baby, say, eat now, go to the toilet now. However, because of so much, we became robots, eat 3 times a day. You sleep, you need 6 liters of water, you need this, that. We mess up our hormones, and we're just all messed up completely. And we don't know. We don't know. We're lost. There's so much misinformation there. So, and then I started doing it. I integrated the breathing into my practice. And although I do all the rest, prepare someone before the breathing, then that was the bottom line. I was delighted because we can help people to stop medication, help them get healthy, obviously in conjunction with other things. So, it's not just a theory. This is I'm using in my practice, and it's been used for over 50 years. This is the new from the old days. Even Lao Tzu was very famous in well, he was a celebrity in China. He said the wise man breathes as if he's not breathing. Also in yoga, we have Bhagavad Gita, it's very famous. It tells us that, that you need to suspend the air in the nostrils. No one is talking about deep breathing. Now, what I learned is based on Konstantin Buteko's research over 50 years. He's a Russian scientist who basically, he worked for the military and the Navy in Russia. So he done lots of research. He was like a 3-star general, and he had access to hundreds of people, as much as equipment he needed, because he needed to do the research, as I said, for the submarines and for the astronauts. So all the research is very scientifically back up what I'm telling you, and they've been using it for over 50 years. Now, obviously, you might think, why I didn't hear about that? Well, it came in the UK in '94, and '96 it was a documentary on BBC, how reversing asthma, but then it went quiet, because if you have something so powerful, then you know, a lot of businesses will go out of business, and people will not need medicines and etc. So let's go to the technical bit. So then I will tell you how the food is affecting you and what you can do, so you can live straight away tonight and then have some tips to apply to your daily life. Now, the breathing, doctors know that the breathing is very important for our health. Obviously, they don't understand the paramount, how important it is. Usually, they look for the temperature, the pulse, and the blood pressure. But the breathing, the normal breathing is 3 to 4 liters per minute. This is how much we need to breathe. And this happens automatically. If we don't do that, what's happening? We're opening the doors to any genetic or epigenetic predispositions. So anything which is in the family, it's gonna start manifesting, not all of them, some of them. And some people, because let's say someone who's painting, not an artist, someone who's painting, a painter of the walls and stuff, because the paint is very chemical. Most of these people, they have respiratory problems, health problems, asthma, etc. So even if there is something at your, in your family, the epigenetic predisposition because of the work, it's gonna actually overpower that, and it's gonna develop respiratory problems. So a lot of people, they don't have any defensive mechanism, so they don't show any symptoms. And what is happening? They just drop dead. So if you have any health problem, you should be happy, because at least you have a warning mechanism to tell you about that. Otherwise, as you see a lot of athletes, they're just running, you think they're fit, and then they drop dead because they don't have defensive mechanisms. So that one, you will not find that, you will not hear that anywhere, because people don't understand. Now, in the air, we have 78 nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and we have 0.035% carbon dioxide. However, in our body, in our lungs, well, in our whole body, we have about 2% of oxygen and 6.5 to 7% of carbon dioxide. So 200 times more than it's in the air. Well, you will think the creator got something wrong. No, it's not. It's just how it is. But let me tell you how it's affecting us and what we can do. So these, they were known by the fathers of medicine. We have Verico and Bohr. They knew that the carbon dioxide regulates the oxygen, and a fall in carbon dioxide is going to affect the oxygenation of our blood. So these are the forefathers of the medicine. So it's not something new. Also, in the Encyclopedia of Medicine, 1940, the carbon dioxide is in fact more fundamental component of living matter than is oxygen. I know actually I'm shaking you a bit your beliefs, but this is what happened to me. Imagine spending so much money and listening all these things. It was a bit of shock. You need to be always be gnostics. It's a Greek word. It's not everything Greek, but you know, this is a Greek word. Being agnostic means you believe today this, tomorrow you might believe something else if you have other information. Don't let the ego to keep you sick. Just question everything, question me, question everyone there, and look if the people who talk to you, they walk the talk, because that is important as well. Not to say that sometimes people, they're not very healthy, but still they have valuable information to give you, but you know, it's a good sign. This is important not for professionals. When we talk about carbon dioxide, there's different forms of carbon dioxide in our body. We'll just not talk about just one type of carbon dioxide, but definitely don't mix it with the carbon monoxide, which is polluting the air. A lot of people, carbon monoxide is a poison. We're talking about carbon dioxide, which is needed for all functions of the body. So why breathing less is more, and what is the mechanism? What is happening? What is happening is when we breathe, all the oxygen is sitting on the hemoglobin on the blood. Now, when the oxygen is sitting on the hemoglobin, we need it in the blood cells and tissues, actually on the tissues of our body. In order to be released, you need to have carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide will release it and go into the bloodstream. Now, if you hyperventilate, let's say someone who has a chronic problem or asthma, whatever, if you ask them to take deep breaths, they're going to start feeling dizzy because they're reducing the carbon dioxide in their body, thus that they have less carbon dioxide to release the oxygen into the blood cells and tissues, in the blood tissues. So then the symptoms, they're going to become bigger. Now, worse. The same way, you see elderly people, they're walking around with the mouth open and they're going, but they're breathing, they have the mouth open, they're taking as much oxygen they like. Why they're still sick? Because you need the carbon dioxide to release the oxygen in the blood tissues. And so this is what is happening. That's why we need to breathe less, to reduce. And as I said, this needs to happen automatically. You can't really think. You need to retrain the respiratory center. You can have equipment, this, that, and etc. Okay, so is that clear? Does anyone follow me? Do you want me to clarify anything? Because now I'm going to go to the topic of this talk about the pH and food. Does everything make sense? Yeah? Good. Now, what is control pause and how do we measure the control pause? There is a way, there is a scientific, precise maneuver that you can test how oxygenated is the blood tissues of your body. You can even use that before food and after food to see what is good for you and what is not. How awesome is that? Would you like to know about that? Okay. Now, I'm going to send you an email, whoever wants, I'm going to send you some, the foods, the tests, and etc. Because I'm aware of the time, I'm going to touch on that, but don't worry, I can send that and we can do a webinar or teleseminar to ask more questions. So, okay, the maneuver is like this. We breathe in, we breathe out, we pinch the nose while the mouth is closed, and we hold our breath. The moment we feel the first urge to breathe, we might feel it on the diaphragm, or you might feel it on the throat, you release. So when you release it, you shouldn't gasp for air. And that one, you will see how many seconds you manage to keep your breath. There are different tests as well. For kids, we do steps. They breathe in, breathe out, and they hold the breath, and they do different steps. And that tells us the sensitivity of the respiratory center at the back of our brain to the levels of CO2 in our body, so we can determine how oxygenated is the blood cells and tissues. That way we can tell if a child is sick We can tell them, seeing how many steps they can do, we can tell how many steps they need to get in order to have no health problems. For the adults, actually, if you do that test, you breathe in, you breathe out, you pinch your nose, you should be able to hold your breath for 30 to 35 seconds. So that way, you will not have any chronic health problems or any predispositions manifested. Most of the people in the modern world, they are about 17 seconds now. Yeah? And a few years, 10, 15 years ago, we were on 25, and before that on 35. Konstantin Buteyko said the moment we get to 15 seconds, the society will collapse. That's why you have kids born with chronic problems which they're unheard before. You say they're born with diseases that usually you could see only on adults. This is because the mother was toxic, they're giving genetically modified food, they don't breastfeed, etc. All this accumulate, affecting the breathing, and then it manifests what is in the family or what is on the environment. So it's very interesting to see that the moment you are on 20 seconds, if you hold your breath on 20 seconds, you're breathing for 3 people. If you're about 15 seconds, for 4, 10, for 6, and 5. Under 10 is very dangerous because the under 15, but under 10 really dangerous because any moment respiratory center, it can just collapse and people die. They're very serious, these people have serious problems. Let me just clarify something. The test is you breathe in, you breathe out, and you hold your breath. It's not you breathe in, you're doing apnea and you hold the breath. Now, divers, a lot of divers, they hold 2, 3, 5 minutes. It's a different thing. Most of the divers, they die at young age, 40, 50. These people lost the sensitivity of the respiratory center, so there is another test that they can make in order to see how much carbon dioxide it's in their body, yeah? So don't confuse those two things. Is that clear? Does it make sense so far? Yes, I know it's a lot of new things, but you will get value not for your money, for your time, because it's free. So, let's move on. Now, the role of carbon dioxide, it's the bottom line of everything. It's affecting the nervous system, it's affecting the hormones, the cardiovascular, digestive system, immune system, and the pH. Now, there is a biochemical analysis, a very extensive. I can send it to you if you're interested. I can send you the link. It just explains how everything is working. It's a very, very, very expensive. They've done it years ago. So it shows why the CO2 it's affecting all the systems in our body. Because obviously it's oxygenating our cells, and then there is different biochemical reactions. I'm not going to bother you with that because it's just getting too detailed. It's also affecting our brain. If our the levels of CO2 is low, look what's happening in our brain. And all these mental problems, autism, epilepsy, different things, it's just related to that. A lot of people, they have also a lot of toxins, toxicity, heavy metals, yeah? Vaccinations, food, all these, they're sitting on the fat of our body, whether it's the visceral fat on our tummy, whether it's in the brain, there is a lot of fat there, and a lot of medication and stuff, the toxicity sits there. So it reduces the oxygen in our brain, and that creates different health problems. So every parent should look into that. So what is pH? We hear it everywhere. And say, yes, you need to have this, you need to buy this, you need to buy that. It's very confusing actually, because there is different kind of pH. You have different on the digestive system, you know, the gastric acid. You have a different on the pancreas, different on the skin. So, which is the one which is right? Well, for the moment, for the presentation, we're just gonna focus on the blood pH, because the food has an immediate impact on the blood pH. The body is very, very intelligent. So if you eat a lot of acidic food and processed food, even if it's vegetarian, yeah, or it can be a vegan, if it's processed, genetically modified, still it can cause you problems. So what is happening, it's going to affect the blood, the pH of the blood, but the body, because it's intelligent, it's not going to let the blood to drop the pH, because then you're going to have degenerative diseases, you know, cancer and other things. So what it does, it starts leaching calcium from the bones because it's very, very alkaline. So it's trying to keep the body, the blood in the right pH. That's why a lot of people who have arthritis and other health problems, the nutrition, the pH, it's affected by their diet. So this is what it does the body. It's just leaching calcium from the bones. So it can be alkalosis. You have too much, very high pH, or you can have acidosis, which is you have lower pH on your blood. So we're just going to focus on that. You can look, if you go on the internet and put acidosis, alkalosis on Wikipedia and etc., you can read for hours. This is not the subject. I just want to let you know that what we eat and what they eat, vegetarians and vegans, have an impact on the pH. Now, symptoms and signs of low pH, it can be headaches, confusion, feeling tired, sleepiness, and much more, and other problems. Now, we know that the levels of carbon dioxide, so far we understood that the levels of carbon dioxide affecting the pH in our blood. So we need to see, to link it, how the food is affecting the carbon dioxide. Do you follow me? So we saw that the carbon dioxide, it's affecting, the levels of carbon dioxide is affecting all the systems of our body, including the pH of the blood. Now, I'm going to show you how the food, it's affecting the carbon dioxide, and consequently, it's going to have an impact on your pH. Is everything clear? Now, we mentioned that the food directly affecting the levels of CO2 in our bodies. Now, please, this is what you were waiting for. So pay very close attention and make some notes. Now, Konstantin Buteyko said meals rich in proteins, they're affecting our oxygen, the levels of CO2. But why? Why? And while fresh vegetables and fruits, they have the least impact on the ventilation. Yeah? So it's proteins that have a big impact on ourselves, animal proteins. There's two reasons. One is the fresh vegetables and fruits. They have enzymes which they're helping us to digest. So if we can digest, if we cannot digest, the body, it's gonna use more and more carbon dioxide to digest. So then problems will start manifesting. So it's always very advisable if you have to eat something naughty or processed or difficult to digest, because I don't expect you to be saints. No one is saints, and to avoid everything. Whether do some breathing exercises prior if you're trained, or just get some quality digestive enzymes if you plan to eat something processed, so it can help you with the digestion. The other reason is there are specific amino acids that they're affecting the respiratory center and is putting pressure. Yeah? So these are the two reasons. Vegetarian, vegan food, the live one, has more enzymes, and also the animal protein, they have amino acids that is affecting our respiratory center when our breathing is controlled. Now, overeating, according to Dr. Buteyko, has the worst possible consequences of respiration, leading to shortness of breath after eating. One thing which makes massive, and once more, massive difference in my life and in my health was eating only when I'm hungry. What? Eating only when you're hungry. If you eat because you're emotionally upset, or because you are thirsty, or because you need oxygen. When we eat, most of the people, they need to oxygenate themselves, or if they cannot do that, they are thirsty, and if they don't do that, they just go and eat. Every time you eat, the body produces insulin, and you're messing up the hormones. And one of the best ways, even in the old days, was fasting. Fasting without food. Yeah. So the body, so what is happening if you fast properly? Then the body, it's burning all the excess glucose on the liver. When you put extra weight and you have cravings, it's just because there is a lot of glucose on the liver and you don't burn it out constantly. And the leptin, the sensitivity of the brain to the leptin, the hormone, it's very weak, and you don't feel that you're hungry, and you constantly eat. So if you can do one thing, I'll just give you a tip. Extend the time that you eat from the morning till the night. Let's say you start eating first meal 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, then have the last one, let's say 7, 8 o'clock. Then after a few days or a week, reduce the gap even more. So that way you will balance the sugar levels and etc. And I will touch later on, breakfast is the worst meal of the day. What? But everyone tells us to eat breakfast. We start with breakfast. I'm repeating. Breakfast is the worst meal of the day. Not only because of the breathing and the research, also in the Hippocrates they said that. Remember, when you sleep, the body is cleansing. So when you wake up, the body is still cleansing. So if you cannot have a breakfast, it's just stopping the process of cleansing. So you're messing up that cleansing process. So you need to give it at least 2 hours before you eat. So what the best thing you can do, have some hot water and lemon and have breakfast later. Yeah? Most of you can't. Why? It's not you're hungry. You have hypoglycemia, which is a condition. If you don't eat, you're going to shout to your partner or get upset with the world, or you're going to faint. This is a problem. That's why I'm telling you to start leaving gaps between the meals, so then you have more sensitivity, have less sensitivity with have more sensitivity with the leptin, so you will know when you are full. Yeah. So this is what is happening, and even with my wife, she's at the back. We have some arguments. Don't give the kids. I said, don't give breakfast. If they're hungry, they're gonna give them something to take at the school. They said they don't allow. They're not allowed. They're gonna eat. No one will tell anything because they become robots. You eat morning, lunch, dinner, you mess up the hormones. That's what's happening. Welcome to reality. So I'm laughing, but it took me so long and so much time, money, etc. And I'm delighted that I can put it all together. You can see most of you, you're seeking for information here, there. And a lot of the things now, they start coming together because you have the whole picture. Yeah, I'm not talking only nutrition, I'm not talking only breathing. We're talking emotions, we're talking about everything. So, the Bible for the vegans and for the vegetarians, the nutrition and physical degeneration from Weston A. Price. Basically, he was the bottom line of changing the jaw and all these things from the people, from his studies. It was because they were over-breathing. Now, some of you don't know him. It was a massive study on an island where half of the population was exposed to the processed food of the Western culture, and the other half, they were not exposed to the processed food. So what happened? There were massive, the jaw, the teeth, they start changing on the indigenous people who start adopting processed diet. So the reason though, because the teeth, the change was because they were hyperventilating. So the problem was they were hyperventilating. Yes, the food triggered it, but the bottom line, it was caused them hyperventilation. So that's why you see a lot of kids, there is like, sorry to say that, but sometimes like penguins like this, and it has to do, it's sad to say that, but you see, they're eating all this junk food, not training, etc. And the hyperventilation, they give this plumpy kind of look. Everyone follows so far? Now, also there was a study, scientific study, where they measured how the food is affecting our pH, yeah? So they measured, and actually, the bottom line is, if you eat an animal protein, it's gonna bring down your breathing by 12 seconds. So for most people, it will be more than half. So that's why when you eat, most of the people, they're feeling sleepy. There is no energy there, no carbon dioxide to help you with the digestion. So when you feel sleepy, it means obviously you didn't chew properly, the food was processed, so it takes you a lot of energy, CO2. So you can see it was 12 seconds less when you do the exercise. You breathe in, the breathe out, so you drop it by 12 seconds. This is a lot. Imagine if someone is on 15 seconds and drops them 12 or 10 seconds. The symptom that they have, it's going to be so severe, a lot of people, they don't know, they have problems and they keep eating, and it makes it worse, the problem. The best food, you know what is the best food? No food at all. Well, when you're sick, actually, fasting is good. You cannot do that with sick people, but anything you eat is going to take carbon dioxide from your body. So, and when you do the exercises, you need less food, you need less sleep, because the body is oxygenated. All these needs come because we don't have enough oxygen on our tissues. So, yeah, sick people should try to limit any amount of animal protein. So this is what we say. People who are sick, yeah, we just say cut down. And I'm going to tell you in order of from worst to the best, what foods and how they're affecting you. Is that going to be helpful? Yeah? Good, yeah. So milk, soft cheese, eggs, chicken. Now, I would like to give you another tip without diverting, but really it's going to make you are smart because you're here. I said that from my heart, but it's going to make you even smarter. Did you know that dairy, even organic, it can affect people with who are lactose intolerance? They still have allergies even to organic milk, yeah? But did you know that all the farms, the cows that they use, they have no horns? They cut the horns so they don't injure themselves because there are a lot of them. If you go to a biodynamic farm where they have still the horns and you have raw milk in case someone is lacto vegetarian, but it's good to know, they don't have allergy because when they cut the horns, that is affecting the protein on the milk. Crazy. So everything has an impact, but we change so many things and we have no clue what is affecting what. Yeah? So it's a lot of confusion out there, but I want you to know that because when I saw that, I was shocked. I said, wow, I didn't even know that the cows have, I forgot, I knew they have horns, but you know, nowadays you don't see it. Wherever you look, you hardly see it. So, food, worse to better. So, seafood, caviar, lobster, crab, fish, eggs, all these, they're going to make you hyperventilate. So this is anything which is quick release protein, it's going to affect you. So again, I can send all these things to you, plus the breathing test. Because I'm aware of time, and I just want to make sure that don't kick us out, what I'm going to do, while I'm giving you more information, if you would like to leave, to send you some things and also organize a webinar, teleseminar where I can sit and ask specific questions, as well as if you have a health problem, I'm going to tell you what you can expect, etc. By all means, feel free to leave an email, and I'm going to email you the information, the breathing test, as well as I'm going to organize a teleseminar, a class specifically for us. If you're too shy, no problem, take a card, but it's going to be specifically for us, a teleseminar. So let's continue. Now, game, wild animals, lamb. Lamb, I know we're talking for vegetarians and vegans, I don't know if everyone is vegetarian and vegan, but if you say you can eat something meat, it will be lamb. But best is raw food, raw vegetables, and also you can, raw vegetables and cooked vegetables. Now, if you have poor digestion and you're sick, actually raw food, it can cause you more trouble. So we need to fix the digestion. And if someone has problem with the digestion, they're going to have problem with the endocrine system, the thyroid, the adrenals, etc. So this working together. You need to fix that. before you move on. And a lot of people, they just jump straight to any diet and then they say, oh, I didn't improve, you know. Berries, raspberries, blackcurrants, strawberries, good, but again, you need to be a bit careful. Also, the honey. Raw food, raw honey, it's very healthy, but for some people, it can give them an immediate kick and mess up the insulin. Now, honey, please, please, please. Over 99.9% of the honeys out there, they're all cooked. You need to find raw honey, find raw someone who produces local food, local honey, where they don't heat it. So you need the enzymes and stuff. You can have, even after the meal, have 1 spoon, very nice. I eat a lot actually. Not that I'm craving it, but you know, see it as a dessert. It's better than ice cream, isn't it? Health-wise. Now, I will send you that. I will send you the test. And also, there is a test that you can do to see what food is good for you and what is not. How awesome is that? So you can test it. So, take the control pose, which I will send you. You breathe in, you breathe out, you pinch the nose. And then take the control pose half an hour after eating the food to see if it dropped at all or not. So you will know if the food is good for you or not. Now I'm gonna give you some tips how you should eat. Yeah? Because most of the people, they lack the fundamentals, and we're nearly done. So as you can see, if the control pose dropped more than by 4 or 5 seconds, that food is not suitable for you at the moment. Yeah, because as you build the CO2, then you can eat more foods, whether you have allergies, etc. You can sort it out, everything. Now, does retraining the respiratory center really works? Just 1 second. Okay, now an important slide. It seems it's moved from there by magic, so I need to give you the tips now. What you can do to improve your eating and increase your pH and increase the levels of CO2. Because as we said, if you have more CO2, your pH will be better, your health will be better, everything will be better. Now, first of all, eat slowly. It takes 20 minutes for a signal from the stomach to come into the brain to feel that you are full. If you eat quickly, you overeat, you don't have the signal there, and then you feel that you overeat. First one. Secondly, no water or drinks with the meal, or at least 1 hour after the meal. If you have it 15 minutes, half an hour before meal, and at least 1 hour, ideally 2 hours after the meal. If not, what is going to happen? You're diluting the digestive juices, the gastric juices, so it makes the digestion more difficult, so it drops the levels of CO2. Yeah? We mentioned about the other thing is don't talk when you talk, when you eat. Chew, finish, and then talk. Finish chewing, and then you talk. The other thing was eat organic where possible. Yeah. Now, it's a big business, we say organic. Did you know, though, that if some of the organics, let's say seedless watermelon, seedless grapes, this is hybrids. This is not so these ones, they make in a laboratory, organic, but you're still eating something which probably, maybe, the body doesn't recognize. So there's a lot of hype about everything. Everyone looking for the magic solution. It's a whole lifestyle change. You need to understand, yeah? You need a program, not just, yeah, I'll take this now, everything's sorted. So, let me see if there was anything else I needed to give you a tip. And I will give you another tip, which is not, it doesn't have to do with, necessarily with the food. Make sure you always breathe from the nose, and when you sleep, make sure you sleep on the left side of your body. So the heart is not pushing your lung and make you hyperventilate. I'm not gonna, this I can touch on the webinar, on the teleseminar. I'm going to expand more, but here I need to focus on the food and the pH as I told you. But I can tell you about training, I can tell you about sleeping, and so many other things, which we don't have obviously the time. So, does retraining the respiratory center really works? This is actually the difference. Most of the things, whether supplements, equipment, whatever, that just give you a bit boost, you feel better. Then the night, the respiratory center is trying to compensate. So if someone does a lot of good work, then the night they're going to hyperventilate. Because the body is trying to balance. It's been like this for many, many years. So it's not something you can change overnight. Yeah? So let's see what's a couple of testimonials. So I did say that they brought it in the UK, and there was a BBC program on that. With professors, you see those results with scientists and professors? Just 2 minutes, I'm done with that. So also we have clients that stop completely all the medication for digestion. Thank you. For digestion and asthma, just by doing the method, nothing else. You can see it at the top. We have other people stop the thyroid medication. This is, you need supervision. It's not like, oh yeah, I do the breathing, I stop. You can have severe cleansing side effects if you try to stop any medication. It's not recommended. You need to titrate slowly and with supervision while you're changing the lifestyle. And also, someone with chronic thyroid problems, never slept properly, within 2-3 days, the results can be very, very quickly. Because, remember, you sabotage yourself every day with things you don't know that they have an impact on your health. Yeah? And enough about the testimonials. What next? If you're serious about your health, to have more energy, preventing chronic diseases, be more focused, and etc., as I told you, I'm going to do a free online teleclass. They call it webinars. And I will email you the breathing test, the food list, and other stuff. Again, it's no charge. Then you can join, answer questions. Why do I do that? Well, I want you to see the value of that program. And then if you want to move further, you know, to have training, no problem. You're more than welcome. But again, I want to make you sure that you understand the value. There's no point to understand intellectually. You need to understand it in a deeper level. And you know, by the time we have the teleclass, I will send you all an email. Please do your research, have questions, challenge me, question everything. I'm not a guru. I'm agnostic. I'm always seeking knowledge. So far, this is the bottom line. I have great results, and I'm delighted that I can share this unique approach rather than just repeating the same stories again and again. So this is the website. If you would like to visit there, I have my card. But if you left your details, I'm gonna email you. If you haven't, you can still leave it, or get a card and send us drop me an email if you need. Thank you so much for attending. I hope you got great value, and I hope to see you on the teleseminar. And if you really enjoyed that, Andy's there. You can say how helpful you found the presentation. So, thank you very much.